I spent the past 7 years traveling the world perfecting my craft. You see, I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker. So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that, reverse it.
Mr. Wonka, I can see you're a man of great ingenuity. What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty, absolutely insane.
Many people have come here to sell chocolate. They've all been crushed by the chocolate cartel. You can't get a shop without selling chocolate, and you can't sell chocolate without a shop.
No daydreaming.
What are we gonna do, Willie?
Huh.
Huh?
Huh.
A double huh?
Get the pencil and paper.
Uh-huh.
I got an idea. I know things haven't been easy for you. They're gonna get better.
You promise?
I pinky promise. That's the most solemn vow there is.
Where do we start?
Chocolate to Mr. Burke. Where's this? It's just weird.
What's happening? Who wants a chocolate that makes it fly?
Let's find out, shall we? Who's for Albertson?
Nothing to see here. Just a small group of people defying the laws of gravity.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Gallery Gourmet, my name is Willy Wonka. He's good. Too good.
Pretty sure I've gained about 150 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
You could change her life, Mr. Wonka. Change all their lives.
Run away!
Every good thing in this world started with a dream. So you hold on to yours.
Here we go, Mama.
Mark my words, this is gonna be the greatest chocolate shop the world has ever seen.
So you're the funny little man who's been followed.
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
Number one now?
Allow me to refresh your memory.
Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
When I say the word potential, what comes to your mind? Someone tell me. Go ahead, Gabe. When I say the word potential, what comes to your mind? The skill to do something. A what if question. I like that. Did someone else have their hand raised?
Potential.
The word potential comes to your mind, potential?
How much you can grow.
How much you can grow? Okay, very good. All right, those are all fair. Those are good. The word potential, Junior.
What you put to mind?
What you put to mind? Okay, that's fair. Like what?
Like the potential.
The potential going home? Very good. That's a good illustration. So the word potential is defined as this. You ready? The ability to come into being. The ability to come into being or existing in possibility. I've told people when I've mentored them and when I've talked to them and I've tried to motivate, one thing that I've said it kind of this way, it's like you're living in the future. It's like you can see the future, you know what you want to do, and so you're going to adjust your life now because you're already there, if that makes sense. It's like you're already living in the future. That's what the idea of living in potential or having potential is. Potential is looking at something or someone and realizing that it or they could be something else if the right elements or the right situation came together. Sure. Potential is looking at something or someone and realizing it or they could be something else in the future if the right circumstances came together, or if the right elements or conditions came together. Okay? An example of this, Junior actually gave us an example of the potential of going home. That's a good example. It also could be negative too. Like those stairs could potentially be dangerous, right? I mean, that's a fair statement. That's a fair way to use the word potential. I was in Costa Rica 15 years ago. And in Costa Rica, they use a lot of like slate and marble, like stone. And what they would do is the sidewalks, they didn't really use concrete much. They used like, well, slate or I guess marble, like pieces of stone for sidewalks and walkways up to houses and even steps. When it rains, what becomes slippery? The steps. There was a couple times, the people that we were with, they said, hey, there's only 2 steps out there, but when it rains, be real careful because it gets really slippery. So those little steps, those marble steps in Costa Rica when it rains, were potentially dangerous, right? But when it didn't rain and it was dry and sunny, were they dangerous? Not really, right? I mean, they're not slippery when they're dry. So the same thing, the same 2 steps were potentially slippery or dangerous if the right conditions came upon them, correct?
You said Costa Rica 15 years ago?
Yep. A kid that had a bad childhood potentially could become rich and famous. Happened to Eminem, happened to Albert Einstein, happened to Walt Disney, happened to Jim Carrey. Yes, sir. Sure. The statement I said was a kid with a bad childhood could potentially still become rich and famous. And I said Eminem, I said Albert Einstein, I said Walt Disney, and I said Jim Carrey. Okay? Question for you, I want you to answer me. How much potential do you have? Someone raise their hand and tell me. What do you think? How much potential do you have?
How much you give yourself?
How much you give yourself? That's fair. How much potential do you have? As much as you believe you can? That's getting closer to where I'm looking for. Guys in the front row? What do you think, Tyler?
Like almost like an infinite amount of potentially that you could put into yourself.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
So like you could put like a lot in yourself, but you could put more than you think you can into yourself.
I got you. So it's what you're saying is it's up to you how much work or how much potential you work out in your own life. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay, I like that. Yes, sir?
As much as I want.
As much as you want? Okay.
A lot.
A lot? Jackson, he's the simple, he's to the point. I like it. And my answer is pretty simple and to the point too. This is what I like to say. Here's how much potential you have. All of it. What I mean by that is you guys, you have all of the potential. Now, does everyone realize all of their potential?
Yes.
Do they realize it? No. If everyone realized their full potential, there wouldn't be differences of successes, would there be? Because everyone has all of the potential and they can do quite literally whatever they put their mind to within the right conditions. When the right elements come together, you have all the potential. You guys have more potential than I do. Why is that? Someone tell me.
We're younger.
You're younger. That really is, that's a simple answer.
What would you say again? You have all of
You guys have all the potential, but because you have all of your potential, you guys are younger. So right now in this room, theoretically, hypothetically, you guys have more potential than I do. He might have the most potential, just based on his age, right? Now, if he realizes it or not, that's up to him, right? You have all of your potential. Of course, the question is, are you going to use it all or not? That really is the question. Whether you realize it or not, you have all the potential to do whatever it is that you set your mind to, but it is completely up to you. I'm going to give you a formula. You ready? The what, and I'm going to explain it. The what plus the plan plus the tools plus your drive equals success or realized potential. I will, or realized potential. So the what, that is the goal. That is what you want to accomplish. That is what you're reaching for, whatever that may be. It could be short-term, long-term, mid-term, whatever. The what is the goal. It's what you want to accomplish. The plan is how you're going to do it. Okay, how am I going to reach this goal? I got to write some things down. I have to have a timeline. I have to think about what I need, what I don't need. How long is this going to take? Which will lead you into the third one, which is plus the tools. You need the right tools. It could be knowledge, it could be resources, it could be teaching, etc. Why do you think you guys are in school right now? To gain the tools so you can implement them into real life so that you can do this and you can be successful. The what plus the plan plus the tools, but none of those are going to do you any good if you don't what? If I have a hammer, pretend I have a hammer, and it's sitting there on my counter, is it doing me any good?
No, and it's not doing you good until you use it.
Until I have the drive, I use the word drive, plus the drive to pick up that hammer and use it how it's supposed to be used. The what plus the plan plus the tools plus the drive equals success, or another way to say it is realized potential. Whether you think you can do it, or you think you can't do it, you're right.
So if you believe, pretty much what you're saying is, if you don't believe in yourself, then that dream can never be achieved. But if you believe in yourself and you're trying to go for that, anything is possible.
Or at least you're willing to try and actually try, right? There's some things that I ventured into that I didn't really believe in myself. Like, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to accomplish this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. But I just said, I'm gonna give it 100%, I'm gonna give it all my potential. And oftentimes what happens is either the goal is realized or it's a stepping stone to another goal or another success that I would try to accomplish. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. You're right. I want to talk about enemies of realizing your potential. Enemies of realizing your potential. Why do people give up? Why do people stop moving forward in their potential? Why do they give up on their dreams, on their ambitions, on their goals, etc.?
They lose faith.
That's part of it. We'll get to that. Number one is this. I think this is just kind of obvious. Some people, they don't know. They don't know what their potential is. They don't know what they can do. They've never been exposed to the idea that they can do greater things than what they've already done, or maybe what their family has done, or what they're surrounding themselves with, or whatever it is. They just don't know. They haven't been exposed to it. And along with that, they may be holding on to only what they already what? Know or have. When I was about 10 years old, my dad was sitting at he had a little desk in our living room. I was about 10 years old, and I really looked up to my dad. I was fortunate enough to have my biological dad, in my home my whole life. But he was kind of an enigma to me. Do you know what an enigma is? Kind of a mystery. Because when you're only 10 years old, you're trying to figure out life, right? And so here's my dad, and he was different than other dads. He was a little quirky. But I remember I asked him a question. He worked kind of this blue collar jobs, factory worker, foundry worker, that sort of thing. I remember when I was about 10 years old, just sitting at his little desk, and I went up to him and I said, "Dad, do you like what you do? Do you like working at the foundry?" And he had this white, like fake leather swivel chair. And I remember he must have thought like this is a teachable moment for my son, right? But what he told me was not good, and that's why I'm sharing it with you today. So he turned his white fake leather swivel chair towards me. And he says, "No, I really don't like working at the factory, Rod." And I said, of course, as a 10-year-old, I said, "Well then, what do you think I asked? Why do you do it?" Right. "Well then why are you doing it, Dad?" He said, "Well, I have to pay the bills, I have to keep food on the table," which is admirable, that sort of thing. And I said, "But why don't you do something that you like doing?" And then this is what he told me, 10 years old. He said, "Rod, I kid you not, this is pretty much verbatim because it burned into my brain. He said, the best thing you can do in life is to get a good job, clock in, clock out, and keep your mouth shut. That's what he told me as a 10-year-old. Well, obviously, I didn't follow that advice. Like everything I do, I use my mouth, right? I'm teaching or I'm counseling or I'm mentoring or whatever it is. Rod, the best thing you can do in life is get a good job, clock in and clock out, and keep your mouth shut. Now, my dad, he was admirable for him to do that. I mean, he didn't enjoy that job, but he was keeping food on the table. He was keeping the electric bill going. He was keeping the house functioning. But at the same time, he was killing his soul. I don't ever want to do anything in my life that's a soul killer. I'll do things I don't want to do. I'll do things that are difficult for a time, but just to go in and out and clock in and clock out and keep my mouth shut, for me, that is soul killing. I wouldn't be able to function that way. Yes, sir?
Be honest. Do you enjoy working at Pine?
I do very much. I do very much. Do you want to know why? Are you asking? Because it partially fulfills what I believe is my God-given purpose. I believe that God put me on this earth in part to invest in young people, to try to give them the directions, or you could say the seeds, or whatever you want to call it, to have a better life than what they have currently. Does that make sense? So whether I succeed with one of the boys or not, I'm still fulfilling as best I can that purpose. Make sense? Yeah. Thanks for asking. Okay, I'm going to pause, and we're going to do a pay attention prize. You ready? So this is kind of midway. You ready? Okay. We got to do this quick, though, because it's right in the middle of it, right? So we're going to do this pretty quick. Okay. Okay. Exactly tell me what the formula is for success. What I said. I need the words exactly, okay? On your mark, get set, go. That was Jackson.
The what, the plan, the tools, and the drive.
Okay, put the pluses in there and then what it equals.
The what plus the plan plus the tools plus the drive equals success.
Very good, that is correct. Do you want the mystery box or do you want the scorching barbecue and the whole Dr. Pepper?
You want to do the mystery box?
You're going to do the mystery box?
You want to do No,
I can't.
Come up here a little bit. Come up here a little bit.
It's a water bottle. It's a water bottle. No, he said it's not something he's done already, so it's not a water bottle.
Imagine I get like $1 million on this shit.
$1 million.
He's already done money.
What if it actually is an iPhone XR? No way. It's a rock. It's a rock.
It's good for you.
It's deodorant. It's deodorant.
It's a potato. I'll take my box back.
Is that a speed filler wrapped potato?
That should be your pet potato.
All right, have a seat, sir. Have a seat, sir. Sit down. All right, have a seat. We're gonna keep rolling.
Glad he did it, so I don't have to.
Have a seat. Very good. That's really funny. Oh, that's a lot of fun for me. I like that a lot. That's funny. Okay. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good for you. It's good for you. Have you ever eaten a raw potato, like with salt?
Is it good?
I love it, actually.
No, don't. It's very strong.
I mean, I like it. I put salt in. I don't care. Yeah, it's your potato.
Make some French fries out of it.
Okay, while Jackson's eating this potato. So enemy number one. It's not that bad. Don't eat the plastic. So enemy number one is if you don't know. That's enemy number one. You don't know. You're not exposed to it, whatever it is. Enemy number two can be, you ready? Enemy number two is it can be other people. It can be other people. People don't always encourage us. They don't always. Some people try to, but oftentimes they don't. Sometimes it's even unintentional. There's been times where I had an idea or someone was talking, they had this like, grand idea, and someone would say, oh, I don't know about that, or that's kind of scary, or I'm not sure if you can do that. And what they're doing is they're looking out for your best interest, and I think they have good motives, But really what they're doing is they are discouraging potentially your dreams. I know someone very close to me, one of his dreams is to build a sail ship, like a ship with sails, like a sailboat, and he wants to sail it like around the world. And like someone would say, well, that sounds impossible, or that's silly, or how are you gonna make money, or whatever. Well, when this person talked to me about building a sailboat, I said, that sounds awesome. How cool would that be to build a sailboat and then to sail it around the world? I mean, that's really awesome to me. And so what we did is we actually started talking about a plan a little bit. Well, he doesn't know anything about sailing. He doesn't know anything about ships, that sort of thing. So the first thing he needs to do is learn about that stuff, right? You can break it in half. It's your potato. Just bite it more. Bite it more.
No, tastes like dirt.
Well, it was grown in the dirt, so. So other people can discourage you. Sometimes they don't mean to. Sometimes they're judgmental. Sometimes they're negative. I would encourage you to surround yourself. All right, if it's gonna be a distraction, I'm gonna take it back for a minute. All right, thank you. Thank you. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are discouraging, it could bring you down to where you say, you know what, that dream is stupid, or that goal is dumb, or no, you're right, I can't do it. So enemy number 2 is potentially other people, which is obviously an external discouragement. Do you remember, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago or whatever, that video that we watched, and the guy said, show me your what, and I'll show you your what? Do you guys remember that? Do you remember it, Isaiah?
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's exactly right. This guy on the video, he said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's the idea of that, what would you call it? Influence, I guess. That influence of who you surround yourself with. So I would check yourself. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Now, in Pine View it's a little hard because you don't have a choice of who to surround yourself with, right? But you do have a choice when you're outside of here. You do have a choice. Okay, enemy number 3 is this. If one of them is other people, what do you think the other one is?
Yourself.
Yourself, right. Very good. Yourself. Other people. Other people. Number 3 is yourself. What happens is we fail sometimes. We fail, and then so we say, I'm not going to try again. And then the fear comes in, and we say, I can't do it. We might look at a project, or we might look at a goal and say, oh, that is too big for me. That's too big for me. Maybe for other people it's okay, like building a sailboat. That's too big. Some people, they may have all the dreams in the world, but they can't discipline themselves. Because the bigger the dream, the bigger the goal, the more what it's going to take. Starts with a W, ends with irk. Work. Work. The bigger the project, the more work it's going to take. And sometimes they are unable to discipline themselves. I think this is more the case though a lot of times. We can get tunnel vision. I'll get to you in a second, Gabe. We can get tunnel vision. Do you guys know what tunnel vision is? It's like an actual thing that can happen with your eyes. You know what it is?
The outside of your,
right.
whenever they black out, you can only see
right. Right. It's your peripheral is gone, so it's almost like you're looking through like tubes or tunnels. Right. And so you can only see what you're directly looking at, and you can't see anything around you. Some people in their minds, they get too nearsighted. They get tunnel vision, and they can only see a little bit of a situation. They can't see the big picture, and that can be an enemy of progress, an enemy of realizing your dreams, an enemy of potential. I love this quote. You guys know that I talk about Disney quite a bit. I've read books on Disney. This quote came out of one of those books. It says, Disney, talking about the man, Walt Disney. Disney saw Disney before Disney was Disney. I just love that quote, because before it was big, before it was what we know Disney as today, he, as a man in the 1920s and 30s, he could look and he could see, this is going to be something. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. And he kept moving, and he kept pushing, and he kept making it bigger and bigger and bigger to where You know, we have Disney today like it is. It's crazy. Yeah, Disney saw Disney before Disney was Disney. That's right. The last thing I want to leave you guys with today is this illustration. And this, I just really like this idea. This, for me, I like word pictures. Every one of you in here, oh yeah, I'm sorry, Gabe, you had a question. Go ahead before I get to that. Yes, sir.
Was number one enemy they don't know?
Correct. Yep, you don't know. Other people, yourself. Correct. Yep. Yep. So check this out. I really like this. Everyone in here, so each one of you sitting in this room, myself, all the staff, everybody has what's called, what I like to call, a dream factory in your brain. You have a dream factory. And that factory is responsible for coming up with ideas, with coming up with dreams and ambitions and things you may want to do, things you would like to accomplish. And everyone's dream factory is in a different condition than other person's dream factory. Some people's dream factories are running smooth and they're clean and the gears are moving and the machines are going and they're producing and producing and producing. You just got to keep putting fuel in it and it just keeps running. Other people's dream factories are really rough running. They're choking and they're spitting and gears are slipping and black smoke is coming out of the chimneys and they're kind of producing stuff but not really, and there's a lot of problems and it's dirty and it's barely running. And other people's dream factories have been shut, have been closed down. Fences are up. There's nobody in the factory. It's cold. It's not just dirty, it's dusty. There's cobwebs on the gears. Those gears haven't moved in a very, very long time. I like the introduction to the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because there's a time when that factory was pumping out chocolate and it was really busy and really going, and then something happened and he shut it down. And then one day smoke started to rise back out of the chimneys at the chocolate factory. It started going again. So it goes from really healthy, producing a lot of chocolate, to being slammed down, shut down, to it's starting to get moving again. So the question is, what condition is your dream factory in? And I get it. I get it why we may shut the doors in our dream factory. I get it. What happens is our dream factories are going, and then something happens. Maybe it's failure. Oh, it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. I got in trouble. Someone came by and betrayed me. I lost. And the walls of our dream factory start to crumble. The gears start to rust. We're not paying attention to it anymore. We go into survival mode. And we go out of the factory and we just go into a house. And we don't bother with the factory. And it's kind of running, and then it shuts down and seizes up. Because of failure, because of pain. But more than that, because of fear. Your dream factory was designed to be moving. Your dream factory was designed to be pumping out ideas, producing things that you may want to do, and you're having the plans come together, you're gathering the tools, you're driving that thing, you're fueling it, and all these ideas are coming out. And even if you can't grab onto them right now, you're writing them down. What are these ideas? You're drawing pictures and diagrams and that sort of thing. What condition is your dream factory in? Yes, sir?
This is kind of like, I remember doing a family session with you, kind of like this when you were building our factory or whatever. Remember?
Oh, the Success Machine. Oh, right. Yeah. I think some of you have done the Success Machine. You guys remember that? A few of you did? Yeah. It is kind of like that, you know, and the different gears were the different elements of your life and that sort of thing. Kind of same idea. So that was to achieve a goal, right? Which is kind of the same thing that I'm talking about. This, though, what I'm talking about is bigger than even the Success Machine illustration. This is something that you're always going to have in your mind, always going to carry with you. It doesn't matter if you're in placement, if you're at home, if you're in college, if you're an adult, if you're a teenager. You have a dream factory in your mind, whether you realize it or like it or not. And it just depends on you if you're going to make that thing run or not. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't even matter like what kind of trouble you've got into, or who your daddy is, or what kind of court problems you have, or whatever it is, or it doesn't matter. You have a dream factory, and you're going to have to gather those tools. You're going to have to put in the drive and the ambition, and you're going to have to put in the work if you want to accomplish things. Another huge enemy, I didn't list it, but I want to say what it is. Another huge enemy of success and potential is procrastination. Procrastination. I know lots of people. I have someone close to me. He's got all these ideas, and they're good ideas. And they stay up here, kind of like they're producing in the dream factory, but they're not going out the shipping door, right? They're just like in the factory and piling up. He's got all these great ideas, but he never puts the ideas to what? To work or use. It's like the hammer is sitting there on the counter. It's sitting there, and he's like, oh, I could do a lot of good things with that hammer. Golly, I could build this and I could do that, and I have the means to, and I have the nails, and I have the know-how. I really could do it. But you know, I'm gonna go do something else for a while. And it's like, dude, just do it. Sometimes it wouldn't even take that much. Procrastination really can beat us down. That's one of the reasons, and I'm not saying you have to do this, and I don't judge anyone that does. I don't own a TV. I don't own one. I don't own a gaming system. But that's just me. I don't have a gaming system. I don't have a TV. I don't own one. I'm not lying, I promise. I promise you, I don't own one. I have a phone. I have my phone and my computer. I play, what's that Kingdom game? Clash of Clans. That's what I play. That's all I play. That's all I play. Because I can play it for like 3 minutes and then put it away. I've never had a TV. Now my kids have, and I don't, but we would have limited time. Have I told you guys about the Techno Tuesdays and Thursdays? Have I told you about that? I'm not saying, Elijah knows all about it. That's right. I talked to your parents about it. That's exactly what it is. So for my kids growing up, River and Lake, some of you have met Lake. My son's still in Alaska. And if you ask them about Techno Tuesdays and Thursdays, they'll go, ugh. But my son now, he has thanked me for it. It wasn't a consequence thing. It was I call it a balance thing. It was a thing where on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there was no technology allowed. They couldn't play games. If we were gonna watch a movie, it was like together as a family, but they had to do other things that were constructive. They had to either write a story or write in their journal, or they could read a book, they could go outside, things like that. And after some time, after the spit and fire ended, they just accepted it, and it's Tuesday, after school or whatever, I don't play games. And they didn't have a problem with it after a little while. Well, my kids are grown now, but I would, yeah. So what I was trying to do with my kids, I was trying to balance them, and I was trying to give them opportunity to realize their potential, to realize what they could do. And so far, it's working pretty well. My son is actually doing quite well as for a 19-year-old. I'm very proud of him.
Was he in college?
He was, yeah. So we all have this dream factory, and it's up to us of how well it runs, We have to avoid the enemies of not knowing, negative people, other people, self-doubt, fear, procrastination, that sort of thing, and tunnel vision. We have to avoid those enemies, because those are the things that are going to chip away at our factory walls, chip away at the gears, and make it run rough, or one day we're just going to say, you know what, forget it, I'm not even going to try. And all that potential that you guys have, because how much potential do you have? All of it. All that potential, if you don't move in your dream factory and produce some things, is going to be wasted. Just absolutely wasted. And what a shame that is. Because I believe this world could be a much better place, not to sound cliche, but it really could be a much better world if you guys, even in this room, realized at least half of your potential. And you guys could do some amazing things. And I'm so looking forward to, in 3, 5, 10 years from now, hearing about you guys and what the amazing things you have done, because you said, you know what, I'm going to just head in the direction of realizing some of my potential. What an awesome thing that would be. All right. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns before we do the last pay attention prize? Ricky, do you have your hand raised or no? Okay.
Even though I got this, so since I got this potato, I can't raise my hand.
That is correct. That is correct. All right, let's see here. Oh, do you have a question? Oh, Isaiah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you think some people
Listen up.
Do you think some people like do on purpose and go after people who have dreams to take them down?
Yes, absolutely. Do you guys want time for a? Do you guys? Can I give you 3 minutes for a cool illustration called "Monkeys on a Pole"? Have you ever heard this?
No.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're outvoted, Gabe. Okay, this is a true story. You ready? There were these scientists, and they had an enclosure with monkeys in the enclosure.
I already heard this.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, you'll hear it again. It's amazing. You've heard it too? From me or from somewhere else?
My father.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll see if I can imitate it. So these scientists, they had these monkeys in an enclosure, and they decided to do an experiment. And they put a pole in the middle of the enclosure, it's a high pole, and they put bananas on top of the pole. Well, then what they did is they electrified the pole. Okay? So the monkeys, what they would do is they'd see those bananas, and what do you think they'd do? They'd go up to the pole and they would touch the pole to climb it right, and what would happen? They get zapped, and they heard a boom, and so they'd run off, right? Well, then after one monkey after another, tried to get the bananas, what do you think they stopped doing? They stopped trying, right? And so the bananas were left up there, and the monkeys, they stopped trying. Then what they did, the scientists, they shut the electricity off. Do you think the monkeys tried to touch the pole to get the bananas now?
Yes.
No,
They did not. Why?
because they thought it was electrified. They never thought to try again.
They were conditioned not to try.
The principle of the story is if you don't.
They were conditioned not to get hurt. Well, then the other fun thing happened. The scientists introduced a couple new monkeys into the enclosure. They didn't turn the electricity on. They put 2 new monkeys into the enclosure. And the new monkey said, "What's going on? I see some bananas. I'm gonna go get those bananas." So they go over to the pole, they start climbing the pole. It doesn't have any electricity on it. And what do you think the other monkeys that were already in the pole started to do?
They started freaking out.
They started freaking out, and they pulled the other monkeys down. They were like trying to what?
Kill them.
No?
Help them.
They're trying to protect them.
2 of them.
They were trying to protect them because they got hurt by trying to get the bananas. And now these new monkeys are introduced. Now, are they getting hurt? No. But the old monkeys, what?
Didn't know.
Thought they were. And so out of good motives, they're trying to protect the new monkeys. And so they would literally grab the new monkeys and pull them off the pole so they couldn't get hurt, or what they thought were they're protecting them. Well, one day, one of those new monkeys just fought hard enough and got past all the other monkeys and got up there and got on top of the pole, and he's sitting up on the pole eating the bananas, and the other monkeys are like, "That's insane."
Yeah. We worship.
So to answer your question, Isaiah, sometimes people will discourage us from trying to get our bananas because they're trying to protect us without realizing. They'll try to protect us. They'll try to pull us off the pole because they've been hurt by whatever. They've been hurt by life. They've been hurt by a situation, and they don't want to see possibly us get hurt. So they're going to discourage us from trying. Now, sometimes it's out of good motives, and sometimes, sadly, it's out of bad motives too. It's less about protecting you from something and more from trying to keep you from something that they couldn't have. Does that make sense? That would be sadistic jealousy. Because they wanted those bananas.
Narcissistic.
It'd be narcissistic too, sure. Narcissism is unearned pride. Say it that way. So if somebody wants the bananas, so to speak, and they see someone getting close, it could be one of 2 things. I'm going to discourage because I'm trying to protect you, and that does happen sometimes. Or I'm going to discourage because I don't want to see you succeed because I failed. Does that make sense? It could be one or the other.
But you get in trouble. In a sense, you get in trouble. You want to get someone else in trouble because you're narcissistic.
Yeah, sometimes, misery loves company, right? So that does happen. Okay, next pay attention prize question. You ready?
Remember, I cannot answer.
Because you won the wonderful mystery box.
Potato.
Okay. You don't have to do it verbatim, but you need to get real close. What did my father tell me at 10 years old? You got to get it pretty close, right? I'm not going to make you do it verbatim, but there's a few elements you have to include. He told me to do something, and then to do something, right? Okay, you guys ready? On your mark, you set? Go! Oh, Thomas.
What? That was.
He told me to do something, and to do something. What did he tell me?
Go to work.
I'll accept that.
What? Get your job done. Shut up and go back home.
Wrong, completely wrong.
Well, it's close because that's what he said. He said, keep your mouth shut and go do you. Bro, you got a potato.
You did get a potato. Enjoy the potato. Say it one more time, Thomas. I think I'm going to give it to you because the point is across. Go ahead, say it again.
Go to work. Don't say nothing to nobody. Go back home and take care of life.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Alright, I'm gonna say it word for word. He said,
Time out.
He said, get a job.
That is correct. Right,
He
right.
said the best thing to do in life is to get a job.
Okay, thanks guys. Small groups.